Hi everyone, welcome to Colouring with Kay and thank you for joining me today. So in this video, it's just like I don't know, it's a little bit like the colouring updates, except that it just contains nothing else but snippets of me colouring. So I thought I'd do this as a separate thing to the colouring updates. I hopefully will still do a colouring updates, but I thought that the colouring updates can wait until the end of the month or the beginning of the next month, and then this can be like during the month, earlier on in the month, when I show you just little snippets of my colouring, and I don't know what else to call it, but colouring snippets, that's what I'm going to call it. So yeah, I hope you find it useful, interesting. It's just going to involve like little clips of, a little bit like the colouring updates in a way, little clips of colouring pages and the books that I've used in this episode, if you want to call it that, is the Townscapes 2 book, the Tiny Petites, and the Mystical Lands of Clinadra. So yeah, these are 3 books that I'm doing little bits in. There's no like finished page or anything, but they're just like little clips of doing little bits and bobs, and hopefully you'll pick up some tips. I'm hoping anyway. So yeah, I hope you enjoy it, and yeah, I'll just get started. So yeah, hope you like it, and see you in a bit. So in this snippet I am working in the Tiny Petites book by Collier. So you can see it's got 4 little mini pictures, Halloween pictures, which I really like the look of. So I've already done I think it was a pencil background that you can see there, and then I also coloured the pumpkins in, and then I decided to use my alcohol markers because it's really thick paper, really good quality. I decided to use my what are they called? I think they're the Spectrum Noir Tri-Blend markers. I tried to do some of the blending on the paper itself. It worked reasonably well because it is quite smooth paper. So yeah, and yeah, I was just using, I like to use a variety of mediums on pages, and just to quicken things up a little bit, I used the alcohol marker. And I like the fact that these tri-blends do not bleed a lot, so they don't spread, you know, when you're using them. I did decide to add a little bit of pencil shading as well, just on the edges to make it darker, and also to give a little bit of shadow under the sweets and the pumpkins. I really like these little mini pictures in the Collier books. Really nice. So yeah, a little bit of shading, and it does make you know, quite a bit of difference. And then I am actually using my Woomer pencils. I have to say they work really nice. They're really soft pencils. If you like excuse me, if you like soft pencils, the Woomer brand is definitely one I would recommend. Now I am using the Castle Art pastel shade pencils. So again, they go on really easily on this paper. And then I decided to use some of my Staedtler fine liners with my waterbrush pen, because of course these are water-based markers. So on the right paper you can do a little bit of blending. You do need to be a little bit quick before the pen dries, because unless it's watercolour paper, it won't allow it to move once it dries. So it worked okay, and you can see I'm doing the same thing on this snake as well. I am using my fine liner, I put a little bit down, and then I quickly go in with my water brush there to spread the colour out, and it gives quite a nice shaded look. Then I decided, why not try to put a little bit of the pencil on the Caran d'Ache palette and then pick it up like that. That is another option that you could use, the way that you could use your your water-based pens. So I did a little bit of colour mixing there. And then I'm back in with, I think this might be my Albert Dürer watercolour pencils. Best thing about the colour yearbooks, I think, is the paper, definitely, because it allows you to use a wide variety of mediums. And they're, of course, single-sided as well, so you don't need to worry about bleed through if you use alcohol markers. And now, just shows you a variety of variety of mediums that I'm using. So I added a bit of fine liner as well, and then blended that out with a water brush. And again, my Albert Dürer watercolour pencils, and then dissolving that with the water brush pen. So yeah, I used quite a lot of water-based mediums for this page, as well as coloured pencil and just alcohol marker for the bench part. So I'm doing the similar thing here, where I'm using the fine liner, the Staedtler fine liner, and then just using the water brush pen to blend it out a little bit. So now I am just colouring in the bats with the Posca marker. I think it's a Posca marker. So now using a bit of paint pen. When I have a page to colour, I definitely do consider the mediums that would be best for the different bits. So now I'm using my Pentel Dual Metallic Hybrid yellow and green sparkly gel pen for colouring in the bits on the snake. And then more fine liner for the bats. So yeah, the little spaces are absolutely perfect for fine liner. And yeah, that's how my page is looking. Just finishing off a little bits and pieces, colouring in my spiders with a dark red and a brown. And then the sun streamed in, so I shut the blinds. So now I'm using my Thule Art acrylic paint pens to go around the black lines where I wanted to. So for example, on the little ghosts, on the candles, just getting rid of them harsh black lines just to give a more natural look. I do that with most of my colourings now, and I would definitely try that out because I think it does really lift your picture when you get rid of the black lines. I'm also using a neon coloured Sakura Jelly Roll Glaze pen to go around the black lines on the flames of the candle. And then I'm also, I really like using my silver Uniball gel pen, so I'm using it here for the webs, just going over the black lines. So you don't always have to use acrylic paint pen to go over black lines. You can, of course, use metallic gel pens or neon gel pens should you wish. And back to my acrylic paint pens by going over the black lines on the pumpkins, which I do the remaining bit off camera. So there they are, and all done. I didn't realise I was so close in there, sorry guys. Just going over the black lines on the snake, and sorry, the little insects as well on the table. Sometimes I get carried away and I don't look on the viewfinder on the camera to see what I'm doing. So I'm just adding the finishing touches now. Using gel pens are really good for adding finishing touches. And a little bit of white acrylic paint pen. So yeah, this is just like a little mini picture that I completed, and I thought I'd just share how I did it. So that's what it's looking like. I decided to use the Jelly Roll glaze for the eyes because I usually use that, and that's it. That's that little pick done. So in this clip I am using some of my Zig watercolor brush pens, I think they are, Zig clean colour ones. So I scribble a little bit of the pen onto the palette and then I lift it with my water brush, and the aim, and I'm working in my Japanese Townscapes 2 book, the aim is to give a more I don't know, a textured look to the foliage in the trees. Basically I wanted it to look quite uneven, so it looked like you know, the tree canopy basically. So I was trying to look for ways in which I could add sort of speckling or uneven colouring, and I did use a sponge, as you can see there, to put the colour on, but it didn't give me a bold enough look, so I abandoned that idea. So you can see that I do try a few things out and it's really trial and error. So I went back to using my water brush and then just picking up the colour with my water brush and then just sort of patting my brush so that to make it look like there's darker patches in the tree canopy, and that gave me a better look than using a sponge. If I maybe used watercolour paint and then used a sponge, that might have given me a more you know, a more sort of a bolder look, I guess. But yeah, this seemed to work okay. I mean, I could have investigated other mediums to use. I could have used the sponge with some what's the word, with some distress ink or something, and then put the distress ink and patted that with the sponge on the canopy, and that would have given a similar effect, I think. But yeah, I just decided to continue with this. But yeah, this is an autumn page in the Townscapes 2 book that I thought I'd quickly record a little clip to show you how I'm working on it. But yeah, that's that. So in this final clip, I'm working in the lovely Karen E. Meyer's let's have a look. The Mystical Lands of Clinadra. I just wanted to get it right. Autumn's Magic. So I did copy the page onto better paper. It wasn't watercolour paper, I don't think. But it was better paper. And I should have really done it on watercolour paper, but I hadn't decided exactly what mediums I was going to use. So anyway, I'm starting off with basing the background with a Ohuhu marker. So this is like a bright yellow colour. It's almost neon, but not quite. But yeah, just basing it with a very light yellow marker. And I do the remaining or rest of the page with the marker off camera. So I wanted this to be a base because I know that when I add water to this, the alcohol marker wouldn't move and it wouldn't be affected. But before I decided to use my other mediums, I decided to add a bit of shading. So I decided to use some Inktense pencils, and again, the Inktense pencils, once activated, fully activated, will not move once you add more water to it. And so that's what I did. I started off using a sort of a bright yellowy colour, and then quite a light green colour as well. I think I used apple green, jungle green, and lime green. So lime green was the lightest, it was more of the yellowy colour. So I just put it in a few places, and then I wanted to dissolve the Inktense pigment with water using my water brush. So you'll see me do a little bit of that. So this is another alternative really that you can use for single-sided pages. But obviously with Amazon printed paper, you know, adding water would be a little bit more difficult. But I suppose you could use the alcohol marker, and then you can use the Inktense, and then you can use alcohol-based blender to blend out the Inktense. So you could use a hoo-hoo blender pen instead of the water. But I just used water because obviously I copied this page onto another paper rather than doing the picture in the book. So here I am activating, dissolving the Inktense pigment, and I quite like the look of it actually. I thought it looks less flat. So it's just an alternative way apart from using pencil for shading. And I like the way that with water or watercolour you can, I know this is not exactly watercolour Inktense, but you can blend it out with the water, and you know, you can be quite messy with it as well, and it seems to work out okay. So yeah, that's what I'm doing here, just using the water brush to blend the pigment out. And then I decided that I think the greens were not the only colours I wanted to use, and so I decided to use purple. And I'm not sure if it was a good idea to use purple or not, but I thought purple is a really nice Halloween colour. You know, the colour for this time of the season, lime green, greens, purples, oranges, they're all, you know, the spooky season colours really. And then I added it in. It is a bit harsh, but yeah, I think it's all right. I think it goes with the rest of the image, and hopefully when the picture's finished, it'll look okay. So I decided to add a bit of purple. Once I'd added the bit of Inktense purple, I then thought maybe I should add a bit of orange as well, because orange is a spooky season colour as well. And so I decided to add a little bit of orange in places. I'd already started before I pressed record on my camera, but I just sort of showing you there that I'm using a little bit of orange in places as well. And then I decided to use my pixie powder, which was the medium that I actually wanted to use, and I wet the paper with a spray bottle, and then I put some of the pixie powder down, as you can see, but there just wasn't enough water on it, and then I used a wet or damp brush, and it just looked a bit weird. So I thought the only way I can do this is to actually spray more water on, put more powder on, and put more water on. So I did put a lot more water on and put, you know, more pixie powder on as well, and the effect was better. However, it did spread obviously into some of the uncoloured parts of the page, which is what you would expect. And then I dried the page with my heat gun. So that's what it looks like now. I'm fairly pleased with it. I think it's okay, and hopefully I'll use Inktense to colour the rest of the picture and coloured pencils. So I decided to just colour a little bit more on camera to see how I would tackle the actual objects. So I used Derwent Light Fast pencils on the pumpkins, so, and then blended them with the Zest-It. But then I tried Inktense, which is what I am using my water brush on now, and I think that worked much better. I think the ink in the Inktense showed up much better in terms of covering up the any background that got onto the image. So I think Inktense is really good at putting over, say, an image where you've used a background and some of the background has actually gone onto the image. So, you know, it's not completely white to work on, white paper to work on. So now I'm using some Deco Gels, Deco gel pens, which I think I made in Poland. They're quite expensive, but they are good quality, and you can get neon versions, and you can also get sparkly versions. So the ones I'm using are the metallic ones, and they are shiny, and they are quite nice as well. I was really looking for anything that's metallic, so these metallic gel pens worked quite well, and they do come in a range of different colours. And then I think I tried out my Wink of Luna, which were not shiny at all. That's the Wink of Luna, which is expensive. You can see me applying it. I've got a few of the Wink of Lunas, but it's so matte, it's unreal. You know, it doesn't look metallic in the slightest, which is very strange because the Wink of Luna pens are quite expensive. I purchased them quite a long time ago, so they have never been shiny, but I thought I'd just use them because I hadn't used them for ages. And so I used it for this image here that you can see, and I do go over it later with my super golden markers. I think the only markers I've found that are really shiny and metallic are the super golden markers. I do that off camera, by the way, so you won't see me doing it on camera, but I do use the super golden markers to go over that, and they do, you know, they are shiny. And then I decided to use some more of my Inktense. Inktense is a really, really nice, unique medium. I really enjoy using it. And so, yeah, I just used two colours, a light purple. I wanted to use the Halloween shade colours, so I used some oranges, a light orange and a dark orange, a light purple and a dark purple. And yeah, because I wanted it, and then obviously you've got the lime green background as well. So yeah, it was okay. And then I got my paints out as well. So got some metallic paints there. I thought for the actual shelves bit it would be nice to use some metallic paint. So I used some paint from Honeybee Pigments, who is in the UK. So she has got a shop on Etsy. I haven't purchased from her shop for a while, but these are just some paints that I purchased a while ago. And this is a dark blue. In retrospect, maybe I should have chosen a purple, but I really like the fact that it was quite a deep blue, and so I used that, and I used a slightly lighter blue as well for parts. And that's it, guys. Those are the snippets for this episode, and you'll just see the final clip where I give you a proper goodbye and show you what this page currently looks like, and hopefully you will see it in my end of October completed pages. So yeah, just see you in a sec. Hi guys, so this is how my page is looking at the moment. There's still quite a lot to do. You can see that when you use metallic gel pens that the black lines get sort of faded out a bit, so I will probably use my acrylic paint pen to go around the cogs and the wheels and things like that, like these little bits here. And then I think I'm going to use, I mean, these are meant to be Spectrum Noir metallic markers and stuff, but they're not metallic or shiny at all. And I find that with quite a lot of markers that are meant to be metallic, they're not metallic. I mean, you saw the Wink of Luna, which are supposed to be metallic markers, and they just come out as matte. So, you know, they're not like how you'd expect metallic. The metallic gel pens from Deco Gel that I've used, they are shiny, but yeah, they're like the shiniest ones. Like metallic gel pens, I'm finding are definitely shiny compared to, compared to the markers. The one markers that I've just remembered that I could use are these, the super golden ones, and they are quite shiny, so I think I'm going to use them for parts of this, but I'm going to do the rest of this page off camera. So I hope I did a little bit on camera at least, so you've seen snippets of my colouring at least. And yeah, that's it really. That's all I wanted to say. And yeah, I've used lots of different things on here. That's Inktense, which I'm gonna use my water to dissolve yet, because that's still to do. But hopefully you'll see this as a completed page at the end of October. So until then, guys, take care, happy colouring. Bye.